Kermit the Frog here to do the Muppet book tag created by Gareth over at Book Songs and Other Magic. And here we go. Yay! Okay, guys, I know that wasn't the greatest impression, but I wanted to do impressions for this tag because I thought it would be a super cool way to do this. Gareth over at Book Songs and Other Magic created this tag and tagged me in it, so I'm super excited to get to it. And let's go ahead. I've got my eyes on here. And the first tag is, of course, Kermit the Frog. Name a book with a great leader. And I chose Call Shailen-san for this one. She is one of the Call family in the Greenbone Saga books by Fonda Lee. And I thought she was a really fantastic character and also a really underrated leader. And so I wanted to choose her for this tag, one of my favorite characters in that series, and I highly recommend the Greenbone Saga if you have not read it. All right, the next one is Waka Waka Waka, Fozzie Bear. Name a book that makes you laugh. And I couldn't really decide on this one. I knew the series I wanted to talk about, but I couldn't decide which character. And this is the City Watch series by Terry Pratchett, part of the overall Discworld series. And I chose two characters in this. The first one is Kermit in Guards Guards. He's in the other books as well. But I just got so much deep-seated laughter out of Kermit in that first book. And it was such a wonderful experience reading that first book, especially because I'd had not so great experiences with other Discworld books. So that was a breath of fresh air for me. And then the other one is Detritus the Troll in Man-at-Arms. And I laughed so hard with some of Detritus' antics because he's a very stoic and serious character, and he's a very literal character. So if you tell him to do something, he's going to do something. If you tell him to recite the code of conduct for the City Watch or the minutes for the City Watch verbatim, he's going to read it verbatim with the little insert name here tag in it. He will say, and this is how insert name here needs to behave, and so on. It's hilarious because he doesn't insert his name or anybody else's name. He just says, insert name here. I laughed so hard, and I know it's stupid humor, but it is so funny. All right, so we're moving on to Animal! Name a book that is unpredictable. And for this, I chose Changes, which is book 12 in the Dresden Files. My jaw was on the floor throughout almost the entirety of reading this book. I am dead serious. It was, oh man, there were so many twists and so many revelations, and I was just floored the entire time. And yes, it was unpredictable, but I mean, unpredictable to an extreme level, in a good way, right? The next one is Statler and Waldorf, and those are the grumpy old men who get a kick out of poking fun at everybody else and what they're doing on stage. And I love Statler and Waldorf. They are so amazing. And this prompt is name a book that had to win you over. And for this, I chose The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. That is the first book in Mistborn Era 2. The reason I chose this book, the reason it had to win me over, is because I did not have the greatest experience with books 2 and 3 in the first Mistborn trilogy. I thought book 1 could have stood on its own as a standalone. And book 2 and 3 were fine, but I didn't really like the direction they went. And so I was worried about Mistborn Era 2, not only because of that, but because everybody that I had seen, or most everybody, talked about how poor Mistborn Era 2 is. And Alloy of Law turned out to be just an absolute banger of a book for me. I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved that entire series. And it's my favorite of the Mistborn series. All 4 of those books were great. So, pleasant surprise, but I went into it kind of iffy. Ernie, well, hello, Bert. Name a character that is innocent or naive or both. That would be Rapskull in the Rainwild Chronicles. Rapskull is a very interesting character, and he is very naive in a lot of ways, and he gets himself into trouble that other people might be more cautious about. But my friend Danielle and I that I've been buddy reading this with, Danielle over at Bookcara, we both feel like Rapskull is a loose cannon. And I think that's due in large part because he is so naive as to the actual trouble that he can get into. So that was an easy answer for me. All right, we're moving on to Gonzo the Great. Name a book that defies simple genre definitions. And that would be Discovery by J.A.J. Minton. John and Jacob and John's wife Amy over at Talking Story, they wrote their debut novel, Discovery, and it does defy genre definitions. It's an absolute fantastic book. I absolutely loved it, but you can't really pin down a genre for it. It's so hard to figure out exactly what genre it is because it bounces between several different ones. Sci-fi, cosmic horror, mystery, thriller. There's so much in there that I couldn't list. But that's what makes it so great and so unique and original. Great job, guys. All right, we're moving on to Dr. Bunsen Honeydew. Name a book with a great concept. And that would be Vicious by V.E. Schwab. This is the first book in her villain saga. The second book is Vengeful, and Victorious is being written or almost finished as we speak, so we'll probably get the third book maybe next year sometime. I don't know. But I love this series, and the first book was really great. And it's a cool concept because these people gain powers by experimenting with death. And I'd never really seen a story written that way. So, excellent book. I highly recommend it. Dr. Teeth. Name a character that lights up the scene and makes you smile. And that would be Christian Avasarala from the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. Avasarala is my favorite character in the series. I love a lot of the characters, but she is just a firecracker. She's just this spunky old lady that has a real potty mouth. I mean, you would think she was a sailor if you didn't look at her. And she is just so funny. Every time she is in the room, in a scene in the book, and we're following her exploits, I just laugh so hard because she is so funny, so witty, and she could curse you under the table. She could out-curse anyone, I think. It's hilarious. Yeah, I absolutely love it. All right. Rowlf the Dog. Name a character that's laid back and copes with the chaos around them. And for that, I chose Ged, or Sparrowhawk, as he's known, in the Earthsea Saga by Ursula K. Le Guin. Now, he's rather impetuous at first in the series, but he learns from a mistake early on, and he grows to be a very wise and thoughtful character, and he kind of learns to go with the flow. And I just think he's a fantastic representation of what this prompt is trying to get at. And I highly recommend reading the Earthsea series. I'm not going to pick it up again because that book is chunky and heavy. But read the Earthsea saga if you have not. It's fantastic. And Ged is easily the best character in the series, in my opinion. There are other great characters. And it's not a large cast of characters either, so that's kind of nice. You get to really dive deep into Ged and who he is, and it's fantastic. And the final prompt on here is The Muppets. Name a book with a great found family. And for that, I chose Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune. The first book, The House in the Cerulean Sea, also has a great found family, but the found family expands in this book so much and so beautifully that I had to pick this book because if the first book was heartwarming, this book is even more so. I thought it was a great sequel, almost better than House in the Cerulean Sea in my opinion. And there's just something about these magical youth in an orphanage setting that, and the way they accept everyone for who they are and accept new people into their family. It's just amazing. And I cried. Yes, I cried. So, such a great book. And I love T.J. Klune's writing. I'll probably read almost every book he's written, but that series is something special. And Somewhere Beyond the Sea definitely deserves to be on this list. So that's the end of the tag, and I just want to thank Gareth so much for creating this tag and tagging me in it, because I was a huge Muppets fan growing up. I absolutely love the Muppets. There's just something special about that group of puppets that were created by Jim Henson, and I think there's not anything quite like them anymore. I know the Muppets are technically still around, but the newer iterations of the Muppets just don't have that extra special spark that the original did. And that's not a bad thing. It changes with the times, and but I just have very special memories of watching the Muppet Show with my family when it was in syndication, before we had streaming or anything like that. We always had the TV guide ready when the Muppets were on, and we knew what time it was coming on, and we turned on the TV, watched the Muppets. There was just something special about that, and I will never forget it. So, that's the end of the tag. I am going to tag a few people in the comments below. If you are tagged, please do this if you have not already. If I didn't tag you, then feel free to tag yourself if you want to do this tag. And until next time, guys, make sure you read more books. I will talk to you soon.